Hey y'all, it's me. It's your girl, the real deal Lanita Skills reaction channel. Like, share, and subscribe. Hey, real deal, how y'all doing? What's up? I hope everybody enjoying their day, night, noon, evening, wherever it is in your country. As long as y'all staying cool, even the kids and enjoying swimming, and just be safe. Now, today's content is going to be about a radio host speak out on a Atlanta restaurant that wouldn't change a name on her ticket. He wouldn't change a ticket. I put he wouldn't change a ticket. So it's about a radio host speak out an Atlanta restaurant that she ate at that wouldn't change a ticket. And I ain't gonna tell y'all what was on the ticket, but let's check it out. This is for educational and entertainment purposes. News reporting to us. So.
As a radio icon, has devoted to spreading love and harmony and peace to millions of people across the nation and across the world. But in 2023, I had an unimaginable encounter 2 weeks ago in Buckhead here in Atlanta. And it is disheartening to see such blatant racism that it still exists today.
Hold on, y'all. Let me take it. Let me take it. We've been having problems with our weather, y'all. So let me start over.
I just want to say that my life as a radio icon has been devoted to spreading love and harmony and peace to millions of people across the nation and across the world. But in 2023, I had an unimaginable encounter 2 weeks ago in Buckhead here in Atlanta. And it is disheartening to see such blatant racism that it still exists today.
Mm-hmm.
And this encounter put a bit of focus on the reality. Anyone patronizing any establishment could have the power to bless business or harm your business just through the influence of social media. You have no idea who is walking into your facility, into your establishment. Because Atlanta is full of high, simply low key, and they just want to have a life. This particular day, I just wanted a veggie cheese steak. And I walked into Woody's in Buckhead and I placed my order. The employee took my order, but he rinsed me as darky in the system. So as I was paying and the screen popped up and I saw darky, I asked him to change my name and just put an L, just correct it because darky is insensitive to a black woman. He refused. So I asked him again. I said, could you just take that off, change the name? Could you correct it for me? He still refused.
Wow.
So at that point, I said, just forget the sandwich. Could you refund my money? And he still refused. And unfortunately, at this particular time, as I do, I just kind of sat back and just thought about it. Like, how do you fix a situation like this? How can you fix this? And I've just kind of went back over, thank God for Google reviews and thank God for Yelp, because that's where our consumers will go and express themselves and to tell people, about their poor experiences. And even with Yelp and Google reviews, it does not mean that an owner, a business owner, or a manager is going to look at the reviews and see what it is that you have to say. But gratefully, I had a platform to be able to bring attention to something that was already on Google review and Yelp about this particular facility. And had I seen that, I probably wouldn't have gone in the first place, but I did. But one of the things that I thought about is that the normal consumer doesn't have my platform. So one of the resolutions that I feel is very important for us, for everyone as consumers, is something that I've created in the midst. It's called the Right One, which is a social media platform that will allow consumers to post videos and post their experiences. And it will also be a whistleblower to people that are racially and socially discriminatory against their patrons. But it is also going to serve as a spotlight for businesses who are getting it right. So we will have forthcoming details about the Right One platform coming up at the top of the week. I do want to say that my attorneys and I, we got together and they asked me what I wanted to see. What I actually wanted to see is reconciliation because that's not what we get to see too many times in this society. You see publicists that will give you a blanket apology, but it doesn't get to the heart of the issue. I wanted to sit down with the management team, with the employee, with the attorneys of Woody's, with my team, and then my reconciliation team so that we could sit and talk through some resolution. They refused to sit down with us. And I'm going to give it over to my attorney because he has been in contact. They refused a lot of things, but that leads us to where we are today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is James Walker. Excuse me. My name is James Walker Jr. and along with Attorney Griggs, we have been advising Darlene, Ms. McCoy, and her husband here, who stand so bravely with her. I think it's very courageous for her to come forward. Many times people let these things happen and they just brush them under the rug and keep it moving because they don't want this kind of attention. She has been through a very traumatic experience here. If you've ever dealt with racism or a racial slur or any kind of racial discrimination, you understand the impact it has. And if you haven't, hopefully you never will. I've reached out to Woody several times. We tried to get them to meet with the NAACP. I have emails where I've said, will you meet with the NAACP? And I've never gotten a written response back to say, yes, we'll meet with the NAACP. We'll meet with others in the civil rights movement to help us better this. When you have a company that has numerous complaints like this, and I've read many of them, you can't just fix it internally. And one of the things they told us is they want to select the person to fix it. They want to select the team to come in and do diversity training and sensitivity training and all kind of different diversity inclusion efforts. We disagree with that. We agree with what Ms. McCoy just said, that Mr. Griggs and the NAACP and experts like that should be brought into the party and should be brought into the meeting so that it's done right. I don't want you to self-check yourself. I want you to let experts come in and hopefully fix this so we don't see another Darlene McCoy story. So they did not want to welcome that. As Darlene alluded to, they were very reluctant to meet with us. Sometimes I think these companies think they can write a check and this will all go away, or they think they can just offer you something. This is bigger than that. We want to send a message to not just Buckhead. We want to send a message throughout the region, throughout the state, throughout the country that it's time's up. As Darlene said, they got the right one today. They got the right one. And we're going to give them some time that I'll let Attorney Griggs talk about, who I really appreciate you stepping in here and helping my client. I'm going to let him tell you kind of what our next steps will be.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
We have an amazing.
And she tried it. And what she tried, hold on. She tried to try to sit down and talk and stuff. And I just didn't work.
I want to thank Darlene. I want to thank James for allowing the Georgia State Conference and the NAACP to be a part of this. When I first saw the posting by Darlene that Friday, I saw it maybe 10 minutes after she posted it, and I texted Darlene and I said, however we can help. Darlene is a friend of mine, but this goes beyond our friendship. This is the birthplace of civil rights. This is the birthplace of the movement. And for a restaurant to think that a racial epithet is appropriate has no place in this city, in this state. So as the president of the oldest civil rights organization, we reach out to Woody's. We welcome a conversation. Let's be clear. We started the diversity, equity, and inclusion business. So there's no one better than to have this conversation. And we look forward to engaging. We will give you 7 days to reach out to the NAACP where we can set a meeting, we can have a conversation and come to some resolution that is satisfactory to Darlene and her family. But if in 7 days you do not reach out to the NAACP, I have been empowered by our executive committee and others that are in leadership capacity at national to use whatever means are necessary to bring Woody's into compliance with normal civility. And so, again, we look forward to engaging in a robust conversation with Woody's. And let's be clear, we've dealt with this before in Buckhead, whether that was Houston's twice and several other restaurants. So Woody's needs to take the initiative and reach out because every single option is on the table, including direct action. And so we just want to make sure that the people of Atlanta, the citizens of Georgia, understand that diversity is a strength in Georgia. It is the cause of the day. You know, when we see these attacks on diversity happening across the country, we know the NAACP has stood at the forefront of every single movement to protect the rights of people of color,
Exactly.
particularly African Americans, and we would do the same thing for Darlene and any African American who feels that they have been racially discriminated. So again, to Woody's, the direct call is you have 7 days to reach out to the Georgia State Conference to have a conversation about what happened to Darlene and what continues to be alleged on all of the review.
I just want to say this about listening to her. She did it intelligently. She just want to know what happened, what's wrong. You can't change. She's not trying to change the person's. They could have took that off that ticket. They did. In other words, that was the way to say, "Don't come here no more." That's sad.
Apps. I've read so many complaints that it's concerning. And again, in Buckhead, this is the third restaurant that we've heard that's had this issue. We need to address this. Again, this is the birthplace of civil rights. It's the birthplace of Dr. King. It's the birthplace of the civil rights movement. And so we have to be clear.
That's right.
We don't accept racial discrimination in this city, in this state, and Woody's, you're on the clock.
So I'll open the floor for any questions.
Yeah, so I know there wasn't an official lawsuit, so after the 7 days, is that further legal action? Is that kind of what you're insinuating by further steps?
All options are open. If I had my way, we might have filed suit already, but.
Okay, I'm going to stop right here and come back to y'all right now. What do y'all think about a situation like this? Do you think she handled it professionally? Did you think the restaurant handled it professionally? What would you have done in a situation like this? This is your girl, the real deal, Lanita's Gill. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm out.